Welcome to Sea of Thieves Explained, a speedy summary of everything pirates need to know to thrive out on the waves. The pirate life is not without its dangers, and to survive on the Sea of Thieves, you'll need to familiarize yourself with the many weird and wonderful weapons that'll see you safely through hostile encounters. Let's start on dry land, or more precisely, at the armory. This is where you'll pick two of the available weapons, though you can switch them out at the armory at any time if your circumstances change. So what are your options? There's the cutlass, which delivers wide slices and a powerful lunge attack, but requires you to get up close and personal with your enemies. Throwing knives can slash and stab, but as their name suggests, they're at their most effective when hurled at opponents. Just be sure not to miss, or they might turn the tables and hurl them back at you. The blunderbuss is a powerhouse that can do devastating damage if your enemies are up close, but don't expect it to impress faraway foes. The Eye of Reach, on the other hand, excels at long-range combat, but it's best not to rely on it if your adversary catches up to you. The pistol and the double-barreled pistol fall somewhere in the middle and are good all-round weapons for most life and death situations. There's also space in your pockets for some throwable weapons, found stashed away in barrels and crates all over the Sea of Thieves. Fire bombs are an incendiary option that can set pirates and their ships on fire, dealing damage over time until the flames are extinguished. Blunder bombs provide a more direct approach, knocking back your enemies and discouraging them from clinging onto ladders. If you're lucky enough to find a bone collar, you can summon some skellies to your side. They won't stick around forever, but can offer a useful distraction. There are also several cursed treasures that can be used as weapons, but we'll let you discover those for yourselves. For now, let's move on to the big guns, specifically your ship's cannons. When engaging in naval combat, you'll be using these to put holes in enemy ships, letting water pour in and sending them to the bottom of the sea. For this, you'll need good old-fashioned cannonballs, which can also be used to damage a ship's capstan, wheel, and masts. And its crew, of course. At close range, a single blast of scatter shot can cause multiple breaches that will leave your foes scrambling to repair. Or if you've got the sharpshooting skills, a well-aimed chain shot can take down a ship's mast in the blink of an eye. Be sure to keep an eye out for cursed cannonballs. This arcane ammunition wreaks havoc by briefly hexing a ship or its crew, dropping the anchor, immobilizing the cannons, or making everyone aboard suddenly queasy, to name just a few examples. On top of all that, there are plenty of other things to fire from your cannons, from fireworks and flares to throwables and even pirates. Why not use a bone collar to summon a skeleton boarding party? Or send a crewmate sky high to launch an aerial assault? If the tide of battle turns against you, there are two things to remember. When a pirate dies, they are briefly sent to the Ferry of the Damned, waiting for the door to open so that they can return to their ship and get back into the fray. But if a ship completely fills with water, it will sink and be spirited away to safe harbour, leaving all of its treasure and supplies behind. If you find yourself in a sticky situation, your crew can vote to give up on the battle and scuttle your own ship instead. The best way to become a confident combatant is to practice, practice, practice. That's where the Hourglass of Fate comes in. By spinning the hourglass, you can choose to pledge allegiance to one of two factions, the Guardians of Fortune and the Servants of the Flame, letting the world know that you are spoiling for a fight. Next, you can either use the war map on your quest table to dive beneath the waves and seek out an opponent, or wait for them to come calling. Either way, your objective is the same: sink them before they sink you. Whether you're looking to defend yourself or are actively seeking trouble, we'd suggest experimenting with different weapon loadouts until you find one that suits you. Keep those chambers loaded, and we'll see you next time for more Sea of Thieves Explained.